So we've already talked about clarity, and this document right here is going to help us to get there. First, some mechanics. I'd like you to put your name up here at the top. So again, I'm going to write down my name. And then if you have a personality profile that you like to use, I like to use Myers-Briggs. I put in my personality type there at the top. Now, if we fill out this clarity up here at the top, we will be able to identify what's called our next milestone and our defining goals. These are the most important considerations, meaning in the next 6 to 10 months, or you can even write 6 to 18 months, what is the next most important thing in my position? And what are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 key things that I should be working on in my position to be most relevant to my company, to be achieving my personal career goals, and to be elevating my project sites. And let's relate that to you. What is the next most important thing in your career? What are the 5 key goals you should be working on according to your own goals? And the reason that it's important to know that and have clarity on that is that we're able to fill out what's called leader standard work. What that means is that we have a plan for every week for the things that we as leaders really get to do to run remarkable projects and improve our career. And we get to merge those in with the normal activities of the day. And the reason that that's important is if I come to, like, let's say Wednesday, for example, I can merge my to-do list with my normal leader standard work. And I'm not going to make it anywhere in my career, on my project, or within my company, or benefit the company as much as I possibly can, unless I'm working on those key things. So one more time, if we have clarity, we're able to know what's important in the next 6 to 18 months. And if we know what's important in the next 6 to 18 months, then we're able to educate what's called our leader standard work and be able to work on a daily and weekly basis on the most important things and really get traction in our life and in our career. When you fill yours out, and I would like you to fill yours out, number 1, your strengths. I'd like you to write down what are the things that really you are just the best at. And there's nothing wrong with being a little bit unhumble here for a moment. What are the things that you really, really, really do well? So some examples for me: positive communication, that my personality type indicates that I'm can be a leader of people. I love developing potential, coaching and consulting, and helping to bring out the best in others. I love learning and teaching and connecting with other human beings. So what are those 5 things for you? Number 2, your values. There is a difference between what you're strong at, what you're good at, and what you value, right? You might value something that you're not naturally good at, but because you value it, you can actually develop strengths in that direction. So here's how you develop your values. You ask yourself, what would my spouse say I value? What would the janitor say I value? What would my boss say I value? What would my preacher say I value? Whatever those perspectives bring forward is likely what you value. It's not just what you think you value or your aspirational values. It's what do you value right now. Okay. So I'd like you on number 2 to write down, what do you currently value in life? And those 2 bits of reflection should enable you to go down here to line number 3. And line number 3 is a bit interesting here. This is your purpose and mission, and this is like 100-year goal. And again, this might seem silly. How does this apply to work? Well, it applies to work in the sense that if we don't know where we're going, eventually it doesn't much matter where we're going to end up next week or next month. So that's just an example. I'm making this up. Then there's nothing wrong with having something in here for my family, right? So I could put something in here for my family, and I'll make that up right now. To develop enough personal wealth to start all of my children with businesses so they can continue the family legacy of giving and contributing. Okay, so this is a basic example. Number 4 now. This is your 5 to 10 year goal. So this is what we call a big, hairy, audacious goal. This is like, hey, where are you headed in the short term? But it needs to be a goal that will stretch you. So if I come over here to Miro, I'd like to draw this for just a second. If this is you, and pardon my stick figure, I hope it communicates what we need to. If in life and on your career, you have a number of journeys, and maybe there's some hills, maybe there's some valleys, some other hills, but at the end of your life, you want to make it to this ultimate goal over here. This right here is your 100-year goal. On your personal journey, where are you headed in the next 100 years? Your big, hairy, audacious goal, which is a 5 to 10-year goal, could be your next short term, right? You're going to climb this mountain in the next 5 to 10 years. And the reason that you're going to focus there is because obviously this is a milestone on your way. And then your personal organization system, like we talked about, is the breaking down into small steps, daily, weekly, monthly. How am I going to get there to that goal? So I hope that makes sense. And then once you reach this point over here, once you actually get to that point, then you'll have another big, hairy, audacious goal, right? That will probably be positioned right over here. But for now, like I said, your goal is over here, and we're going to identify that as we go through this clarity document. So if this person wanted to become a general superintendent, and let's say they were currently a project superintendent, the next 5 to 10 year goal could be to learn the position of senior superintendent, and to learn everything I can about project scheduling and project controls. Okay. So that could be like, hey, in the next 5 years, I want to make my way to general superintendent, but in the next 5 years, I want to learn the position of senior superintendent and learn everything I can about project scheduling and project controls. Since this is a specific goal, I would like to say within the next 5 years. So I'll put a date there. One thing that I would like to say is that we have the opportunity every time we set goals to set what's called SMART goals. I like this one probably the best. Let me go ahead and bring up that image. So SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So is the goal specific? Does it have enough description? Can I measure it? Is it achievable? Is it relevant to the company and to my role? And is it time bound? Is it time sensitive? So let's go back over here to this goal. Is this specific? Yes, I'm going to learn the position of senior superintendent and everything I can about project goals, right? Is it measurable? Yes, because I know the role of a senior superintendent and I know project scheduling and project controls are very specific topics inside the construction industry. So that is measurable. Is it actionable? Yes, I can actually do that. Is it relevant? Yes, this is relevant to my company. So if I actually learn how to be a senior superintendent according to that role description, and if I learn better project scheduling, and if I learn better project controls, that is relevant. And is it time-based? Yes, I'm going to do this within the next 5 years. Okay. As we go through this, I'll go fast. Number 5 is if I was looking at this from a pair of binoculars. So if I'm over here and I'm actually looking at this big, hairy, audacious goal from a pair of binoculars, what would that look like? Can I describe what that vision would look like once I reach that that goal. Okay, so I would want to go ahead and describe that so that there's no ambiguity about what I'm attempting to accomplish. Okay, so I'm going to take a stab at this. To be a valuable superintendent in the company, be trusted to run multiple projects or a mega project, to have the influence in the company so I can mentor other superintendents and project managers, to use the information I have learned and begin sharing it with others. I will be known as an expert when it comes to scheduling. So I've just described, hey, once I learn the position of senior superintendent and everything I can about project scheduling and controls in the next 5 years, I will be what it will look like if I was looking at it like through a pair of binoculars. It will look like that I am a valuable superintendent to the company. I'm trusted to run multiple projects or a mega project. I have influence and I'm mentoring other people, and I'm using the information that I've learned and I'm sharing it with others, and I will be known as an expert when it comes to scheduling. Now, why is this important? Why would this be important right now? Because this comes down to the next milestone. If this person is currently a project superintendent, so I'll just go ahead and write that down. Project superintendent, probably, let's just say a little bit new in her or his career, heading to become a general superintendent, in the next 5 years, learning to become a senior superintendent. What could be a really good next milestone, a next 6 to 18 month goal? I'd like to get a couple of thoughts, and I'm going to write it down here, and then that's when this is going to get really applicable.
Trying to get enrolled in a scheduling training or scheduling class.
I really, really like that. So let's write down here, become proficient with project scheduling in the next, let's just say 10 months. Now, this is where it can get really, really remarkable. You're defining goals. These are the specific things that I need to do, or that this fictional person needs to do, to actually accomplish line item number 9. I'll give you possibly one example. So if I want to become proficient with project scheduling in the next 10 months, I could say that I want to take a tact planning and control course and become a tact master, and achieve a tact master certification. So that would basically take care of the master scheduling and production control part of this goal. All right, so one more time, why does this matter, right? So I know that I'm going to become a better leader in my company and in life because I have clarity. In the next 10 months, because I made it specific, because it's a SMART goal, I'm going to become proficient with project scheduling. And the reason that this is important is if we just told 5 or 6 or 10 or 15 different superintendents, hey, this is your goal in the next 10 months, would it be relevant to them? Not sure. Should they be doing the same thing? Well, they're not at the same level of experience. So having a blanket goal for an organization can be a bit ineffective. What we want to do is make sure that each individual professional has their own goals on their own career that will elevate them right where they are today. And then each of these, learning master scheduling ties to this one. Actively update the schedule ties to this one. Get a mentor ties to this one. Reflect on a weekly basis, that ties to this one 100%. Learn the last planner system and become proficient in pull planning, that 100% ties to this one. So these 5 goals get us this one right here in the next 10 months. And they're SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-based.